What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today we're going to talk about Too Much. T-O-O, much, not T-W-O or the number, but Too Much. Season 1, or all season, depending on how it goes. I love these shows that they're introduced as limited series and then they always go on to get like a second. That's like the newest trend because it's so like it's like a victimless crime. And then if the show doesn't do well, you're like, well, it was limited. Untamed picked up for season 2 at Netflix. Oh, guess it's not a limited series, is it then? No, but so Too Much. Yeah, Lena Dunham has even talked about wanting to do a second season. She's the creator of the show. She's also the creator of Girls. Here we've got Megan Stolter. I don't know how to pronounce her name. I love the fact that Megan Stolter is the lead of this. Like, she got into a show with an insane amount of cameos. I mean, like the supporting cast in here. We've also got Will Sharp, who plays Felix. Jessica and Felix are the leads. They're the lead couple here. Audio description done by Descriptive Video Works. But yeah, this series has a ton. Like, the supporting cast, like, if you go beyond them, is nuts. It's just nuts. It's bananas. B-A-N-A-N-A-S. Subscribe. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Some of the names are like are featured a little bit more. Rita Wilson, Andrew Reynolds, Richard E. Grant sort of have a little bit more screen time. We've also got like Rhea Perlman, Emily Ratajkowski, Jessica Alba, Jennifer Saunders, Naomi Watts. Trying to think like everybody who pops up in the season. Rita Ora, Andrew Scott. There's just a shit ton of people, and I'm gonna forget because a lot of them are just, again, they're just like small little cameo-ish type things, and they just kind of slide in and they leave. But yeah, the story is basically that Jessica who's a New Yorker. She's gone through a bad breakup, and which we'll explore more over the 10 episodes. But at the beginning, we just see that her boyfriend is with someone else. She's not handling it well. Her boss, fortunately for her, she's good at her job, and her boss wants to go over to London, sort of like an Emily in Paris type of thing, and go help the London branch. So it has that sort of like Emily in Paris vibe to it, where, oh, it's a single American lady that's going to go live somewhere abroad. So you would think that that's where, no. It's also Lena Dunham. So the series is going to be very frank. It's going to be crude at times. Lots of talk about sex, nether regions, just anything you can possibly get. Like unafraid conversation. If you are at all squeamish, or you're like, I could watch this with my parents, I'm like, could you? I would not want to watch this show with my parents. And the funny thing is, this is not like one of those things where it has like weird graphic sex scenes like Euphoria or something like that. It's just a lot. Like, the second episode has a pretty deep conversation about anal. And it's just reminding you, this is our brand. This is where we're headed. If you don't like, then hop off the train now. And if you stick with it, there's some really rewarding moments, especially with Jessica. There was a whole episode that sort of went into finally her relationship with her last boyfriend, Zev, and the whole thing about like, where did they go wrong? What happened? How did we come to this? And how he ended up with this sort of influencer type Beauty, which is played by Emily Ratajkowski. And yeah, how did that transpire? And she often has like these conversations, like she's writing to or talking to the other woman, so to speak. But she also finds Felix pretty quickly, and Felix is struggling. And as he'll say later on in the series, he's like, I told you I was a piece of shit up front. And he's struggling with a lot of things, including addiction and whether or not he is or is not sober. And trying to be a good boyfriend to Jessica, who's worried about whether or not she is too much, whether or not she's too extra. But also, because it's coming from Lena Dunham, it's very much a show about strong women who have sort of their own independent voice being silenced by men who don't like that. So at the same time, she has to find somebody who actually does accept her for who she is. And then that person may also be flawed, like she's not perfect, and she may also need somebody who's not perfect, which is why this whole thing with Felix plays out for the course of 10 episodes, because Felix is definitely not perfect. So instead of believing that you're going to get some weird Prince Charming person that jumps in off of a horse and rides off to make you the queen of a foreign land or some weird nonsense, I think a lot of these shows end up accepting the fact that maybe the path to happiness is not that. And you see a lot of these characters that end up with somebody who's not your typical sort of Nora Ephron answer to rom-com freedom. The man, and they're just too perfect together. And it's that scene where they see each other and like run to each other, and at the end with like the rain falling, like, I love you. No, it breaks all sort of traditional romance models, and instead has two characters who are kind of fucked up and are really specific about why they are and their problems, and they kind of have to learn how to accept each other's faults and realize that that's what will make them perfect for each other. It's an interesting ride. It doesn't always work. Sometimes it overplays its hand. Sometimes Lena is so interested in the sort of shock factor of something that it just doesn't play well. I learned a lot about women through this. As a gay man, I don't know that much, but there was a lot about UTIs. There's a whole scene where Jessica is worried because her vagina hurts, and we learn why. And she has to she basically crowdsources like health information from women in her family. And I'm like, so she's this open with people in her family too. It's a very sort of weird relationship thing that goes on in this film, and everybody's very frank. I didn't love everything that happened here, but I liked a lot of it. Would I go on a second journey with them? Sure. The ending's kind of sad out of nowhere. They kind of find a way to just kind of throw a little sort of, I don't know, just, it almost feels like you're being hit by shrapnel, like it wasn't intended for you. But yeah, there's something that happens at the end of the series. We're like, did we need to do that? Did that bring them closer together? Really? Well, now that sucks. So, yeah, I like the show. She has this adorable little dog, Astrid, who just is in, she keeps putting Astrid in outfits, and it's like a hairless dog. You get some description about it, about Astrid and the little outfits that Astrid wears. It's a little tiny little toy dog that has no hair on its body. So except on the top, I think it's a Chinese crested, even though we didn't get the breed. We got a description of it, so I would go with Chinese crested as being the breed. That's my guess. Uh, yeah, so she has a job, she's a boss. Boss does some weird stuff. Boss is also, everybody's kind of too much. As you get to learn about people, there are things, like he hands her a list of like 10 things not to do. Like it's the list of all the things that rub him the wrong way. Just sort of like very upfront. And some of them are kind of dumb. And you're like, really? That's, like about how, I guess like her acclimating into the British, like make sure you eat the right flavor of crisps, so that there's like a pungent scent that wafts through the room. And it's like, is that a thing? First of all, if you're selling them, then they're the right flavor of chips, unless she's importing chips from somewhere. Like, I don't know. Yeah, I think some people will like too much, and for others, too much will be too much. Netflix hasn't picked up the show yet for a second season as of my review. I could see them going either way with it. It feels in some ways like a body or heir apparent to Emily in Paris, but at the same time, it also feels like that body nature could turn people away. There's something that's very sort of accessible and light and fluffy about Emily in Paris, which is probably why it works for the people it works for, and then other people just end up hate watching it. So Too Much is a little bit more realistic. It's got frank humor in it, and its lead is able to navigate being the character that is written for her in the totality, in sort of this strong female role that's a little bit obnoxious and also has a lot of emotional baggage and unpacks all of that. I thought it was a solid performance. Felix, on the other hand, is slightly more, he has sort of like a smaller range of emotions and smaller things to go through. A lot of his stuff is internal. It's dealing with like this addiction and, self-doubt. And he has some family issues that he has to go through, which we see play out. He has he's definitely a lead. Like, he has his own stuff where he goes off and the camera follows him. That's always a good indication of whether or not you're following a lead or a supporting character, is does the camera actually spend a decent amount of time with them, or do we stay with just one character? Like, who do we follow? Too Much. The audio description on this is I liked it. I think certainly there's some stuff where it could have leaned in more. Like, we've had shows that are kind of like this before, that are frank in nature. This has some sex scenes in it. It's not Bridgerton level of sex, but I think it's pretty close to the top. Maybe there's a little bit of a gap. Maybe there could have been a little bit more of a closing. It's hard to say. It's this sort of very pleasant British female narrator. It's just funny because the show is just so not. There's nothing really pleasant about the show. It's not trying to be. Lena obviously wants another Girls. She wants another show that causes people to talk about it and opens up conversations, and maybe isn't universally beloved by everybody, but is respected. So it's interesting to see how this goes down and whether or not it will end up being respected, or whether or not she can just only create Girls. So I would watch another season of Too Much. I also don't need another season of Too Much. Also, I would argue that the structure of Too Much doesn't necessarily demand a second season. This is a season that ends in a way where they kind of close all the doors, just to be honest. So even if Netflix doesn't go with a second season of Too Much, Lena kind of did that to herself. And I don't even mean in terms of content. I just mean, I don't think she made a strong case at the end of the season as to why there should be a second one. I feel like just the way that the show ends, I mean, you could do one, and I could see where it would go. But that's sort of like with films, when somebody makes a movie that doesn't necessarily scream sequel, and then we make a sequel to it, should we have, you know? So it might be better as just a limited series. Anyway, too much. Yeah, I'm gonna give the show a 6.5 out of 10. I liked it. I think it has some strong performances. I do think at times it's too much. I'm impressed by the amount of cameos, by the line of people. I'm not sure everything worked for me, but the totality of it did. That's the thing. There are bumps, there are ups and downs. There are some things that I like, some things that I didn't like. I'm trying not to go into too many spoilers. Definitely at the end there, I thought she really overplayed her hand, really unnecessarily, Lena, and that probably cost her the most points from me. Is I just thought there's a little thing that she pulls off at the end that I just totally disagree with. That's in the final episode, but yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the other side.